Get the chat open over here. All right. So, how was everybody's week? Overall, wins, losses, how are we looking? Decent. There was some. So I talked about the beginning of the week. There was some good opportunity in the indexes. I know not everybody trades the indexes, but some things I want to talk about. Where is it? Oh, I don't think it's on my list right now. We'll talk about this pair. One second, guys. My computer's lagging a bit, so I gotta close some stuff while it's recording. Yeah, of course. We'll talk about that stuff. We'll talk about all the some psychology stuff at the end for sure. But yeah. Okay, cool. So I've been posting some forecasts on UJ, very higher time frames, right? Because this is a monthly perspective. But we talked about how you're able to catch these, how to catch these big moves sometimes. Um, and I've been talking about a lot on the forecast, but I've been talking about this monthly high here. So August is low, printed down here, rejected, closed back up here. And then September came down and swept August and that liquidity from the left-hand side. You can even see we had, this is the monthly time frame, but liquidity block over here as well that we respected. And then from there, we've gone bullish, okay? And we talk about it all the time, but this happens daily, all the way down to the M1, for example. But for more of a higher time frame directional bias, I'd like to use this for obviously month, week, day, and it could even go down to an intraday perspective on the 4 hour. But we always talk about how, like, let's just say on the daily perspective, we have daily low ran, and we expect price to run up to the daily high. Now, I'm not just saying that since we've ran this low, we automatically have to come here. You have to pair, obviously, all that with how we trade, right? Liquidity and all this stuff. Just because we've taken this low out doesn't mean we're automatically just going to run for this high and you're full porting up into this high. Obviously, it matters what's going on in the lower time frames, pairing that with liquidity, with our whole system. So this is just an added confluence to hold trades onto a longer term, a further target. All right, so we can talk about, let me mark this on. So we spoke about in the last webinar, but I just, at the beginning of the month, you just kind of open up the monthly chart. You only have to look at it once, obviously. It's the beginning of the month, just see what the previous month did, where we have highs and lows. Just get an idea of what the next month could be looking like, right? And for October so far, you can tell that we've gone bullish for the first, it's October 12th now. So for the first almost 2 weeks. Weekly perspective, you can see here, we ran that liquidity to the downside, right? So when this week candle closes bullish, you can see we have left this liquidity block now. Next week comes in, prints a low, and then the following week actually sweeps this weekly low. So if you were looking at this, let me move this over. You could have a good idea of, since we've taken out previous weekly low here, you can anticipate, obviously, again, just because we're taking weekly low doesn't mean we're going to come for weekly high, but you pair that with our system. This is just an added confluence to your direction. So you can anticipate longs up into the weekly high here. And then on top of that is you have that monthly perspective, so you can leave a runner. So if you took positions down here on the 1 hour, 15, 5 minute, whatever it is, you'd have that confluence to hold to the weekly level. And then on a longer term perspective, like weeks, like you'd have to hold this probably 2-3 weeks, you have that monthly confluence, right? Again, pairing that with liquidity and everything. If we hop onto the daily, now it's starting to open up those weekly candles. So you can start to see these highs and lows form, right? The structure points. We'll go to the 4 hour to open up a little bit more. But you can see how this was weekly low. So week ends off here. Next week opens up, spikes it, leaving this whole massive imbalance up here. Let's mark this out as a trap. Okay, sweeping all of these lows to the left-hand side. Okay. Again, this is when you want to start understanding that, okay, we've taken out, where is it? Weekly low right here. Weekly high, I believe previous weekly highs up here. So easy partial point would be weekly high. And then that monthly, look how far it is, right? So if you're able, let's say there's a lower time frame entry down here, let's just say in this area somewhere. Look at the potential you have to catch this swing, right? So again, from that monthly to monthly, using the weekly to help you, and then again the lower time frames. Also understanding, look on the hourly here or the 4 hour. We've taken out this low. We've taken out this low. So we understand that since we've taken out these lows with this big bearish move, respecting this trap to the left, that this is just a false move, right? To induce sellers into the market, and that's exactly why when the market went bullish off the back of taking that weekly low, we've came in here. All right, false reaction, pullback, and then long. Okay, so let's break down. We've talked about this before, but I just want to show you guys how powerful the higher time frame can be, especially holding to these further targets, right? But look, same perspective here. Look how the market's built liquidity here for us, right? Just like it did on the 4 hour here. Same thing. It's built liquidity here for us. Oops. Boom. Just on a lower, a smaller perspective, again, it's just built liquidity here. So yeah, on the 15-minute, you can see built liquidity. Before taking the liquidity here, look how we get false reaction up. Simple trap. We understand it's just grabbing internal liquidity. So we grab that internal. We sell off, clear the lows. Sorry, this low here. So BOS to the downside. Not only this low, but the low to the left-hand side. Perfect. And then what do we have right below? Perfect liquidity block. And I believe it taps the candle as well. Just like this. So you could have even just taken an entry up to 15 here. And this is why you don't always need the most perfect entry. The 5-minute or the 1-minute. Whatever the story is being told in front of you, whatever time frame it is, just take the entry on, right? And don't be afraid to be confident in that higher time frame. You open up your stop, you have a 20, let's just say you have even a 22 pip stop. You have an intraday target. Let's just say here, intraday target here. That's about a 1 to 6-ish. And then you have a more intra-week target here. Okay, which is about a 1 to 15 or 330 pips. And then once you hit a high like this, more of a higher time frame target, you want to be at least 75, 80% out of your position. And then you just leave that runner. And you'd be surprised what happens. Price can just keep pushing and pushing and pushing, right? Until that higher time frame story is finished. But like I've gone through this trade before, and I just wanted to cover it again. Of these kind of trades, like this is like a trade of the month kind of trade. And if you're able to capitalize on positions like this, like, and you learn and you teach yourself to hold decent volume, this is a trade of the month kind of trade. But yeah, super clean. Now I sent it again in the chat, but I am looking for price to continue up on UJ. Again, let's mark out this monthly as a target. So I do want this high to get taken. But just because I've marked this on doesn't mean we're just going to magically continue bullish forever, right? So I go down to the weekly now and I have a perspective on what the previous week did. We've now left a weekly low here, okay? So already in my head, I'm thinking, okay, just from the weekly perspective, I'm thinking, is it possible that we've come down here, run weekly low? And then since we've run that weekly low, what can we anticipate? Maybe weekly high and then monthly. So right away, I understand that, okay, I have this weekly low marked out. If we take that weekly low out, I can understand maybe, okay, I'm bullish for the whole week. Now that you understand that, you go to the daily. where's daily lows, right? Because if I'm bullish, I'm just really paying attention to daily lows, to be honest with you, right? There's no reason to be taking counter bias moves. For example, like if I'm bullish and daily highs are getting taken, like I'm not too keen on taking shorts. All right, it's just low probability. It's not something I want to be focusing on, right? But then again, like I just mentioned at the beginning of the webinar, this is previous weekly low. We tie that into obviously our whole system with liquidity blocks, or sorry, liquidity and everything. Look what we have: price induced higher to induce buyers. Look at all this liquidity we left here. If we take this low, buyers are trapped. And look what Elijah said: liquidity block right below. So you pair this with everything. But the power of this higher time frame is it's giving you the confidence to hold to these targets, right? So weekly high here. So if we take this out, let's just say we come down here, maybe false reaction, come lower, take this low out, come up, induce buyers, take this out. We understand that this should get taken now, sells off, and then we start getting this move to the upside, right? Maybe something like this happens, and you look for an entry down here. Where are we targeting, right? Can someone annotate what are our partial points going to look like here? If we've taken out weekly low here, where are we looking to partial at or target? Exactly, this high. Not only and that high, perfect. Once this high gets taken out, we understand sellers are trapped, right? So since we've taken out this low, this is going to be a trap for sellers. Okay. Any reactions that come out that are going to be false. And obviously, we're not going to be looking for trades there. But if the sellers do get trapped, this is definitely a place to be partialing heavy, 80%, 90% even. I'm sure it's a possibility that we can run up there. But since sellers are trapped here, we can also get a false move to the downside, maybe to run something else. So if understanding that, you want to be taking partials at these structural points, these structural highs and lows, for example, here, for example, please, please, please partial. There's a lot of times where people are like, they don't partial here and they want to target the liquidity from the left-hand side and it just runs this high and sells back off. They never paid themselves. Please partial at structural highs and structural lows. Like just anticipate reversals, not even reversals, anticipate reactions the other way, right? So even if, let's remove this line, even if there was just a pullback, dealing with the psychology side of things from this high down to this low, being up, I don't know, let's just say 5-6%, and then price coming back down to like 2-3%, it'll just do your head in. Then you might start acting irrationally, managing your trade based on your current emotion, rather than just understanding that since we've taken this high out, we can anticipate some sort of bearish move. So partial. If the bearish move occurs, it's all good. Whatever. We paid ourselves above the high. That's our job. We just made money. Okay. And then if it runs higher, perfect. Your partial that you took down here, you're just paying yourself even more. Okay. Something else you can look at is so for example, again, let's just say I'm not saying this can happen, but let's just say the weekly low gets ran. Okay, like this, then we come lower and then start going bullish. However it happens, and we go long here. Let's just say, wait, how can I draw this in a good way? I can do it like this. Perfect. Okay, so now let's just say Monday closes and we've left daily low here. Sometimes what happens is, and let's just say Monday's high, for example, is right here. Monday's low gets taken. What can we expect? Monday's high. From the weekly perspective, we have weekly high. So you see how it goes all the way down the time frames? So now you've had daily low taken, you've had weekly low taken, you've had an unran daily high, unran weekly high, and again, unran monthly high. So you break down the time frames and you're just giving that confluence of holding it to these areas. So again, let's just say you're able to take a lower time frame entry down here. You partial a little bit here, you partial a little bit here, you partial a little bit here. Make sense? I'm trying to build that confidence to you for you guys to hold your positions a little bit longer than just a session or just a day. When you're able to, when you're sleeping and this position's running, sometimes you can run like 100 pips in your sleep, and you're making money while you're sleeping, essentially. You got a question? What's up?
So the past couple of weeks, what's happening to me is like the first partial that I want to take is mostly at like 1:2 or something. So I end up not taking any partials, and many times the trade reverses, and I'm not at break even also because it's not a break even point.
Okay, so what's your
So what do
question?
you do at My question is like, suppose there are like three partial points, but from your entry, the first partial point is only at a 1:2 risk to reward. So you still take a partial, or
Oh no, 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 for sure not. Again, this is coming from me, so I talk about this a lot, especially in the trade breakdowns. But um, for me, I won't be taking a partial unless it's 1 to 3 minimum. Or sorry, I won't even be taking the entry unless my first target is a 1 to 3 minimum. And again, that's just for me. Some people like to do things differently. Sometimes people like to just hold a little bit more. Sometimes people hold a little bit less. So it's all up to you. In my opinion, if your first partial point's a 1 to 2, you shouldn't be paying yourself, and maybe you shouldn't even be taking that entry, or you should be waiting for it to come a little bit deeper, so your RR makes a little bit more sense. Now, if it's not making your partial point and it's reversing back, taking you out, obviously there's something different going on, right? The bias isn't correct. So there's other things you need to work on. It looks like the partialing thing isn't the problem, right? But yeah, let's just say, for example, you had the correct direction. I wouldn't be partialing at a 1 to 2. No, it just doesn't make too much sense to me. There's a lot more available, in my opinion. All right. But yeah, anybody have any questions about this stuff? Daily highs, lows, weekly highs, lows. No, all good. Cool. Now, with all of this knowledge, let's head over to, in my opinion, trade of the week. Okay, so this was the beginning of the week. So, like I said, beginning of the week, just hop on the weekly, take a look at what. Now we're cheating a bit because the weekly candles are printed, but what the previous week's done. So, this is a good example. Okay, perfect. Look, we've taken out weekly low, so you're going to anticipate weekly high to get taken, right? But then again, just because weekly low is taken doesn't mean we're automatically going to run up there. This is just an added confluence, right? We're going to go to the lower time frames, the daily, 4 hour, 1 hour, and pair everything with liquidity, obviously, um, and then build that bias. Okay, so weekly low is taken out. So let's mark this out. Go to the daily. Perfect. 4 hour. Okay, cool. So take a look at this. Weekly low is taken out, and we've gone bullish. That's fine, right? But look what's happened here. We've now taken out this high. So what can you anticipate? And I'm going to open up this price action a little bit more, but I can just tell in the 1 hours. Look at all this liquidity left to the lows. Okay. Not only that, if you look to the left hand side, look at this, leaving these lows as well. So price takes out these highs. Where do you think price is going to be heading now? We'll go to the 1 hour so you can see this a little bit more. What can you anticipate here? Help me out. Sell off. Yep, perfect. We will not be looking for any buys now. Again, why? Look at this liquidity we're running. All this price action here. So we'll skip up a little bit. We end up taking out these highs. Okay. And remember, weekly low here is taken. Okay. So previous weekly high is going to be here. So obviously, when the lower time frames align as well, this is going to be our higher time frame target. Okay. So we'll have this marked on. We've just taken out the weekly lows. Let's go and skip price now. What day is it? It is Friday, end of the week. So we're into a new week now. And you guys are right. We sell off. And take a look at this. We have ran these lows on the left-hand side. We have taken out previous daily low. So previously daily lows taken. So let's get rid of this line actually. Previous daily low taken. Oh, and I believe actually this is previous weekly low as well. Let's take this. Yeah. So we spike down lower once more. Previous week taken, and we still have that previous weekly high not taken. Take a look at the daily. Low taken. What's the next target going to be? Boom. The high. Right? Obviously an added confluence. we use the lower time frames to take our entries and understand what's going on, obviously. But again, we've taken out these lows, so I have the confidence now to hold to this high and then this high as that final target. Okay. And we've had a perfect trap occur, high taken to induce buyers, and then we sell all the way back down to trap them. Not only take this low out, but these guys as well. Perfect. And we tap into this imbalance nicely. We have a little cheeky liquidity block down here, it looks like. Not the cleanest, but something like that, which we're getting a reaction off of right now. Um, and we talked about this on the webinar, I believe, on Tuesday, but we'll talk about this price action here. Entry was taken in Tuesday in New York, so let's skip to this. Can I do it like this? No. But this is just like UJ, right? I just want to give you guys that confidence to hold to these further targets. Um, Stock open is right there. Perfect. Okay. So clean stuff here. Stock open runs up, induces higher to induce buyers into the market. Okay, leaving liquidity at the lows. So it's a simple trap up. This is going to be a trap area. We're not buying from here. We're not buying from here. This is all going to be traps. Okay, so buyers are taking out here. We've left nice liquidity at the lows. Look at this. BOS price pullback respects the lows and moves away. So we've left beautiful structure type liquidity here. We spike that out. This is liquidity block. We respect it. Move away. Okay. Go to the 1 minute. You can see how on the 1 minute over here, look how we just induce higher. We run lower to trap buyers on the 1 minute here. And now we're approaching this inducement low with a liquidity block below. Look how we get, again, same thing, just on a smaller time frame. Trap higher. Now we want price below these lows. Okay. And then liquidity block to support our entry. We get tagged in. It runs. Now, where are we targeting? Someone mark on partial points for me. Perfect. We have previous daily high up here to hold to. Okay. On an intraday perspective, you have a structural point here. So, in my opinion, I'd still be closing a little bit here, most likely just to cover my risk. So, like 15% to 25% at the most, because you have gorgeous targets to hold to, right? So, small partial point, most likely just to cover my risk. Then you got inducement high up here. You can take some off. Finally, daily high, I'd be 80-90% out. And then you have that weekly high to be fully out at. Okay. But yeah, like it's just so clean. Buyers trapped on the higher time frame, all that liquidity taken out at the lows, trapped to the upside here to induce buyers, sell off to the downside, takes everything out, and then just multiple targets higher. All right. On the 15, let's just skip this. So clean. Massive trade this week on US 30. But this is all you got to look at. Right? And then again, since this target's not hit yet, stuff I'd be looking for is maybe some sort of previous daily low ran. Pair that with our traps, our liquidity, of course. But if some sort of, let's take a look actually and see if it occurred. I'm not even sure because I stopped looking at. No, it didn't happen. But again, maybe we could have had like a spike below. And if we did spike below, let's mark it on. If we did spike below daily low, then you have the confidence to hold to daily high and then the higher time frame target the week up here. So it's the same thing over and over. Again, don't just expect, please don't just go onto your chart and be like daily low take and daily high target. You want to go to the lower time frames, open up these candles, observe and analyze where's the liquidity, where's these traps, all the good stuff, right? Comprende? Everybody understand? Cool. Yes, yes, yes. Nice. I believe, look at Nos. Haven't made it there yet, but right. So you have this whole weekly range. And then within this weekly candle, you'd be on the 4 hour, the 1 hour, the 15, observing when buyers get trapped. When buyers get trapped, you continuously buy up to this guy. All right. Let's see. I don't know. Is there some nice longs on Nos? Don't recall. Let's see. So was target hit? I don't even know. No, target hasn't even been hit yet. So it's left equals. Okay. What does the daily look like? We have daily lows left here. Daily lows left here. 4 hour. See, look, it makes even more sense here now. We induce higher here to induce buyers. What's this going to be? We anticipate this to be a trap. We do not buy from here. Look at this beautiful buildup we've just had. We respect the low, move higher, take out this high. Now we can anticipate price to come lower to trap the buyers. And then when obviously it makes sense, you wait for a setup, we can look for buys higher. Okay, targets here, or sorry, target. Make sense? Obviously, you want to see what occurs down here because we could even run a little bit lower. Look what we have right here. But then obviously when the time's right, let's just say we come down like this. We have a reaction here. Go higher, induce higher, maybe even once more, and then sell off. Boom. Where are we targeting? We look for an entry like this somehow. Boom. We look for our entries. And we have multiple targets. Intraday, or sorry, actually, this would be more of a cover the risk, small partial, another partial, another partial. Daily candles liquidity block as well below that. Let's take a look. Yep. So below here, right? But you see what I mean by you use these weekly and daily and stuff like that to build that confidence to hold for a longer term. But you always want to open up those candles as well and see what's going on here. So obviously, we open up these daily candles and you can see what's occurring, right? Induced higher. We've got a trap occurring here. We've just taken out this high. We can anticipate sells to the downside. We don't have to necessarily trade them because, to be honest with you guys, this is the low probability move down. So I won't really be looking at that. I'll be looking for that move back up because this is the high probability, right? Other than that, I believe, let's see, because I took this short on Nas. There was no longs I loved. I remember looking at this price action Tuesday. Yeah, there was nothing else on Nas for me. But higher time frame perspective, we still got opportunity available for us, right? Cool. Let's take a look at. I put this forecast in gold as well. Just giving you guys that higher time frame perspective, and then it makes life a lot easier. Just go into the lower time frames, right? Like weekly low taken here, one taken from the left hand side, tapped into the imbalance. Okay, you have partial point, and then that last target up here on the weekly perspective, obviously. Then you go to the daily. Thursday bullish off the back of running these lows here. So check this out. Clear these lines up a bit. We take out these daily lows. If you were able to find, I know just because I remember the price action down here, but if you're able to find an entry down here, partial point, partial point, partial point, right? Um, honestly, it's powerful. But this is how I'm able to hold um entries for a longer period of time, right? Let's see. 1 hour. Yeah, there's nothing else right now. But yeah, still opportunity on gold. Obviously, I did send out that I do want to see these highs run into. I believe again, was that weekly? Yeah, it was weekly high. Okay, so next area of liquidity. You can look at it however you want to look at it. You have this whole channel here. And again, look how on a larger perspective, we've taken out this low, so everything over here was just a trap, right? False move down to clear out liquidity from the left-hand side. So that's why we're getting that bullish move back up. So I do expect higher prices on gold. But again, just because I'm saying that, don't just immediately hit buy. Wait for these setups to occur. Okay. And then when these setups occur, let's just say, for example, where's our daily low? Oh, it's all the way down here. Let's mark that out though. It's quite far, to be honest. Let's just say Monday we have a rangy kind of day. All right. Let's just say Monday comes down here and goes long. This is Monday's low. Maybe Tuesday runs below Monday's low. What do we expect? This high and then this high. All right. And again, just pair that with your liquidity. This is all trap. So there's going to be liquidity up here and, of course, up here. But there's the confidence to hold to that, right? And maybe it just comes a little bit lower, maybe false reaction, goes lower, takes out this, and then you start looking for your buys. Okay. And again, partial, partial. All right. And can you have a look at PA post CPI? Of course, yeah. Also, the power about understanding the higher time frame perspective and being able to hold for longer periods of time is you don't have to unload full risk on these entries. Um, sorry, one sec, guys. Um, you throw in, let's just say you have a 100K account, it's funded. You don't have to use full risk, like always 1%. You can use like 0.5% risk. Since your targets are much higher, or sorry, they got a good amount of pips involved, then you don't have to have too much risk. The gains are still going to be very big, right? You have an entry down here on gold, you hold to this. This is 240 pips, you hold to the next target, 340. The gains will still be massive. I mean, look at Abbott, for example. I mean, he does quite a big risk from like our standpoint, but for him, it's not. But his gains are massive compared to his risk because he's able to hold to these higher targets, right? It's not going to take a week. You got to build confidence, of course, to hold more volume. You're just not going to be naturally used to it. But it goes with anything in life, right? The more and more you practice it, the easier it's going to get, obviously. Let's take a look at price action post CPI. Are you talking about gold? I believe that was down here. Yeah, I already know you're going to ask, right? Look at this. Yeah. So I always talk about it. We've induced higher here, right? So we've induced buyers. So longs right now on the lower time frames, if we just go bearish down, I'm not looking for any buys. Okay. The reason why I didn't hate this, if from a liquidity standpoint, always remember you want to prioritize liquidity over anything. Look how
No, it was just the leg before that, like after the news release, there was kind of a build up, and then that break of yeah, just a second.
can you
I
yeah can you
think this yeah, like I wanted to look longs here,
yeah
but the
that's fine.
liquidity was already taken from here. That's why I was a bit techy to take it.
Oh, you wanted to look for longs here.
Yeah, here.
So just understand that's when you have to zoom out and understand that higher time frame perspective, right? So what do we? Why would we short here? The next draw on liquidity should be up here. right? Look at this massive sell off to the downside. This is just to induce sellers. Okay. And then you have range to build liquidity. This is a massive buildup of liquidity, right? How long did this take? Almost 2 days of price action building liquidity for CPI. And then all the early buyers get built up. CPI takes them out. Now we start going long. So as soon as this low is taken out and we've spiked higher, you can anticipate that we should run up to here at least. But since this is technically a liquidity block as well, it could be respected temporarily, and that's why we've had false reactions for a little bit here. Okay. Now, as for entry, I'll talk about this. So we've taken out these highs, and we've had a sell-off clearing internal. Okay, so we can mark that on. Now, personally, I wouldn't have loved to trade, but if you wanted to get involved, it's not wrong to do this as well. So after taking out this internal and created a liquidity block, we've gone long and we've taken out this high. So we always talk about how buyers are essentially induced now, right? So we wouldn't be wanting to buy below this low. Now, what happens is if I open up onto the 1 minute,
Uh,
we get a buildup of liquidity here. Okay. And then look how the market just reacts off this inducement low, induces higher buyers. So this is going to be trap. So if you wanted to take an entry, it'd be down here and your liquidity blocks here. Now, again, I would not be probably taking this, but from a liquidity standpoint, it makes sense why we still went long. Okay. Because the trap occurred here. Okay. So just for understanding purposes, you can see that we've gone long here, induced higher by taking out these highs. Look how we've respected the highs up here, engineering liquidity to the upside, false sell off down, and then we've gone long. Okay. But
uh,
now what I anticipate is going to happen is this is now
like,
liquidity.
yeah, but just I know it could be quite intricate, but if you look at the PA in this just a sec. Hold on. In this area, I was saying. So this, I was looking for an entry after this liquidity got taken, and an entry over here.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
fine. But then when this high is taken out, what you have to understand is we can anticipate pullbacks, right? So we talked about at the
yes,
beginning
yes,
of the webinar, when these structural highs are taken, we can see pullbacks, and that's what occurs, right? So if R wise it didn't make sense to partial here, then you couldn't have partialed. You just got to manage your position.
right, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
But yeah, that's for gold. Again, nothing right now entry wise. Directionally, I do like. There's still opportunity to the upside, but just need to wait for a setup to occur. So I got my eyes again step by step to this next weekly high. But if price can simply build more liquidity at the highs for us before continuing higher, then there could be a setup. Okay, Craig, did you short there? Did I short where? Shorts on gold? No. Hell no. Any shorts right now are just your are counter bias, counter the higher time frames. So, oh, sorry. Yes, you're right. I did forget that. I thought you were talking about up here, down at the lows, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was over here. So up here and liquidity block here. So, and then I talked about when I posted it. I told you guys I managed my position down in this area because I did anticipate us to run these lows. Um, but we're bullish, right? So this is the thing about counter biases, and that's why I'm telling you guys not to focus on counter bias too much. Focus on the pro bias trades, because sometimes counter bias they just don't fully play out. So like, look how we just left liquidity to the downside here. So a lot of you guys, let's just say for example, you took this short, and we've left this liquidity to the lows. It stump you, right? It confuse you. So step by step, it's just more. it's better for you guys to be taking these pro bias moves right now. Okay. Obviously, on a smaller perspective, this did make sense. We've had that build up. Okay. And we've engineered liquidity here, false move up, clearing that build up, liquidity block above. So this was a short on the M1 available. Of course, we've just left liquidity to the downside. I had a very small partial, like 25%, just to cover my risk. And then it just came back. Okay. But that's the risk of just taking counter bias positions sometimes. But yeah, as for up here, no shorts. I was waiting for longs to occur on Friday, but I was looking for this. So I've seen we've taken out the highs. Okay, I just wanted to see price come below, but we've just simply respected all these lows and went bullish, leaving all this liquidity now. So we'll see what happens Monday. Like I said, there's still opportunity to the upside on gold. I do want to see these highs taken and stuff, but now I just have to wait for the lower time frames to build some sort of setup for me. Um, but yeah, if I am able to get something, I will definitely be holding positions to this weekly high for sure. It's a very nice target, 2673 ish, give or take. As for euro, definitely I think a nice bullish move coming soon. But have to just wait. Right now, super bearish, right? So I can't I can't just continuously long or try to find a bottom. I'm just simply going to wait for euro to print my higher time frame bottom. Then once the bottom prints on euro, it's going to be so much easier to ride the wave back up, right? But continuously waiting to long, like trying to look for longs over here or over here, over here. Just wait for that higher time frame to build. Wait for that 4 hour, that 1 hour to build liquidity again. Find that bottom on the higher time frames and then just ride the wave up. Okay, that's it. So much better, so much more easier, high probability. Don't try and catch the tops and bottoms on the higher time frame. You'll do your head in. All right. Any questions, guys? Let me know. Any other opportunity this week if liquidity blocks mitigate previous lows? It's very broad. What do you mean by this? I think Abid spoke about this. Did you ask this question in the question section? It looks similar, I think. I think this question was just asked. 1 second. I don't know. I can't find it right now, but um, if liquidity blocks mitigate previous lows, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Do you have an example? A chart example? Don't overthink about anything about liquidity blocks. It's just literally an area. Liquidity blocks are areas for us to take entries off of, right? Because the whole purpose of a liquidity block is it's going to it's going to support our entry, right? So if you're looking to take an entry below this low, it makes sense because we have a liquidity block below. So since there's no liquidity here below this low, we can anticipate price to continue higher. That's it, right? Now that this is respected, it's liquidity for the future.
Yeah, I guess my
So
question was about basically the gold shorts you showed us. I saw
yeah,
it, but I didn't take it because I thought the liquidity block that you entered from it mitigated previous high. So I was like, okay, I can't really take it because I think market's gonna run it. But then it ended up,
this one here.
yeah, that one, yeah.
So you anticipated which to go?
The liquidity block that you entered from. Oh, let me see if I can. Yeah,
So,
right on. Yeah, because
okay.
yeah.
So look how we've induced lower. Okay. From here, we've gone bullish, taking out highs. So this is a liquidity block. However you want to dissect it, you can look on the M1 and stuff, but overall, this whole high is a liquidity block. Obviously, because we've taken liquidity from the left, and then we've had build up, trap move. I have a liquidity block to support my entry, and I'm looking to just target something to the downside. Okay, nice and simple. So again, same thing. First step, you want to see build up. Okay, then we get the trap move, clearing the build up. Okay, and then liquidity block to support our entry. Or if you didn't want to take it from here, you'd have to wait for a confirmation based entry in this price action.
So it's still valid to enter, even if it does mitigate some high, right? We can still enter it from, or
I'm not sure I follow. What's
because
mitigated already? You mean
if it respect,
like if you wanted to refine it? Look how this area wasn't
yeah,
right. This
yeah,
whole imbalance on the M1.
yeah.
If you wanted to refine, like I said, you don't always need to go to the lower time frames to refine entries like this. But if you wanted to, yeah, this area was never tapped into yet. But I just to keep it simple, overall, this whole high was a liquidity block because we've swept this, right? We've trapped the sellers. Anybody that were looking to take sells here, they got trapped.
Hmm.
Okay, so then again, we've gone bearish, and if you had a bearish bias, like you want to price all the way to the downside, simple stuff again. You have that build up of liquidity. Look how price goes lower to induce sellers, and then traps all of them. This is a sell entry, and you take it lower. Then again, obviously, what we talked about is unfortunately it didn't take out the whole low, so I wasn't really able to pay myself too much.
Yeah.
Marco,
Alrighty.
can I speak here for a second?
Yeah.
I think I'm Salman, don't get me correct me if I'm wrong. Do you mean like
Here, let me zoom
if
in, Abbott, so you can annotate.
yeah, do you mean if a liquidity block already respected a high or like a low?
Yeah, but hold on, muted myself. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I did.
Okay, so when a liquidity block respects a high or low, right? It's still a liquidity block, but remember, right, as I always mention, we have to see a trap occur before it taps into the liquidity block. You get me? So like in this case, right, this right here is a trap. This whole area right here is the trap, right? So we got that trap, and whether you want to consider this part the liquidity block or even the whole thing, um, what do you call it? You can still take it because even though this high right here respected this one right here,
Mhm.
it's still a liquidity block because of this, right? And we've had that trap right here, so this is a valid liquidity block to take our entry from. You get me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Makes sense. Okay, awesome.
Okay.
All right, yeah,
Perfect. Thanks, Abbott. Appreciate it, bro.
appreciate it.
Cool. Anyone else questions? Questions? Where are my Canadians at? Anybody got Thanksgiving this weekend? I gotta go to family soon. It's Thanksgiving over here. Unfortunately, now we got bank holiday Monday, by the way, guys. So please, I don't want to open Discord on Monday and find people trying to trade. You're gonna make me sad. Don't do it. No trading on Monday allowed. I always get the guys that are like, "Oh, look at this beautiful setup. Um, I should have been trading." No, don't do it. Sometimes, maybe one out of 43 times, there'll be a setup on a bank holiday, but just don't do it to yourself. Gonna go crazy on Thanksgiving scalps. Oh God. Um, well, yeah, happy Thanksgiving to my Canadians out there. I don't know who else is Canadian really in this chat. Let me see. I don't know, but whoever is, I know the Americans. You guys celebrate it like 8 months later or something. You guys are broken, but that's not Thanksgiving. Well, yeah, guys. Going into next week. So yeah, we talked about gold. UJ still opportunity. I don't know. We'll see what goes on, but Nos another one still opportunity to the upside. So some things I got my eyes on. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this webinar. If we got no other questions, I'm just gonna wrap it up here, guys. I gotta go shower and go to my family's house now. Eat a bunch of turkey and then rot on the couch. Cheat day, yes sir, yes sir. Thanks for a great one. Nice one, Craig. Appreciate you, brother. Have a good weekend, guys. We'll wrap it up here. Avid, I know you're. Where are you right now? You're in the States somewhere.
Yeah.
Have a when's the when you got the your family's wedding soon?
Yeah, I got a wedding later tonight.
Nice one, bro. Have a good time. The rest of you have a good weekend, and yeah, see you guys back in the Discord Tuesday, Tuesday. No trading on Monday, please. All right, guys. Have a good weekend, guys. Thanks, whatever. Appreciate it, bro. No worries. Then sensei, I'm no sensei. Have a good one, mate. Yeah, you too, Sean. Take it easy, guys. Have a good weekend. Ciao, ciao, ciao.